Very solid win by the Denver Nuggets tonight against the Utah Jazz. They beat the Jazz 135 to 112. Um, Everybody played great. Everybody played great. Despite what the box score may say of anybody's box score, everybody played great. Everybody played so great that our starters actually got to play under 30 minutes tonight. All five starters played under 30 minutes because Tim went off, Bruce had a great game, Val had a great game. Val had 16 points tonight. I think he played, let's see here. I think he played like 10 minutes. Oh no, I had that mixed up. Val played 16 minutes, deservingly so, and got 12 points out of it. And they were pretty hard fought points. Everybody played great tonight. Watching this game, I don't even know what happened. I kind of do, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure the Denver Nuggets, they didn't want that loss from that Houston game. They didn't want that to stick with them. They wanted to have a different attitude, a different approach, and really put Utah away. It's one, it's tough to beat Houston 3 times in a row, but to beat them, borderline get blown out by them at your home, and then you have another game against Utah. Denver is known to make bad teams or sorry teams or mid-level teams feel like they have a fighting chance at beating them because historically they've just lacked good enough approach to combating those teams, especially in the first quarter. This game, I mean, everybody just went off, bro. Everybody went off defensively. Everybody went off offensively. And Yoke only had 14 points in this game, and it truly didn't even matter. He still got his triple double. Okay, Yoke is gonna do Yoke things. That's just what it was. Yoke got 13 rebounds tonight. It feel like he got 20. He was getting rebounds literally all over the floor. It's like the ball was just either falling into his hands or he's just kind of. Yes, he's what, 7 feet tall. Usually, the taller you are, the longer your wingspan is. But it's just the rebounds he was getting was also one of the factors to keep us in this game, even though he only scored 14 points. Let me tell you something. Peyton did not play in the game against Houston because he had sustained a right hip contusion from his game in Orlando. And he was greatly missed. I feel like if Peyton was in that game, it would have at least came down to the wire, especially since Spencer went out in the third quarter. I feel like that game, we would have had a fighting chance to win that game had we had Peyton and Spence. Having Peyton and Spencer back in the lineup changed so much. I mean, that defense, they were coming out swinging. Peyton was assigned to guard Keon George. Spencer Jones was assigned to guard Lauri Markkanen. And Yoke, of course, is going to guard Nurkic. And those three, their defense in the first quarter, oh my gosh. Peyton and Spencer truly came out like they had something to prove. And I'm sure that loss to Houston made them feel that way. Spencer, I'm assuming he was on minutes restriction. He played less than 20 minutes throughout the game. He left in the third quarter of the Houston game with some cramping. They didn't, from what I recall, they didn't say if it was calf, hamstring, right or left. They just said he had cramping. So I'm pretty sure because he only played 20 minutes tonight, he was kept on minutes restriction. And honestly, he didn't really need to play any more than 20 minutes that he did. But his defense was so good. You could just see on Lauri Markkanen's face, like he was just getting so frustrated because he couldn't penetrate the paint and get the good looks that he was used to. I love that about Spence because Spence is like new to the league. As Spence isn't just new to the league in terms of just now getting NBA minutes, but he's new to the league in terms of other players from other teams having to be like, yo, who is this dude? Right? So of course other teams, they're gonna they're going to know, what's the scouting report say on Nikola Jokić? What does the KYP say on Jokić? What does it say on Jamal? What does it say on Aaron Gordon? What does it say on, Cam Johnson? Now, even though he did not have a great shooting night, Spencer Jones did not have a great shooting night at all. Let me see here. 3 points. Spencer Jones scored 3 points the entire game, but it didn't feel like it at all. Why? Because he was a plus 26. Why? Because his defense was so efficient. Imagine only scoring 3 points. Yeah, imagine only scoring 3 points. He only made one of his 4 free throws. Now that was annoying. That was annoying to watch. And I don't know, dude. I feel like he was just kind of feeling insecure, because his shots weren't landing at all. So even when he got some free throws, those weren't going in. So yeah, offensively, shooting wise, he didn't have a great game. But I mean, like, when you're still a plus 26 and you only have 3 points, he played great tonight. He played great defense on Lauri Markkanen. And the minutes that Spence was out, it definitely showed in Lauri Markkanen's performance that he felt more free getting into the paint and getting to his spot. There were a couple possessions where he was just off in the corner. And we know Denver loves leaving people open in the corner because they just figure we got to give up somebody, which, it's like, I guess. But they just figure, we got to give up somebody in order to blitz and double team and trap over here. So they gave up the corner. They gave up corner threes a lot in this game. And I feel like Denver got lucky that Utah missed a lot of their threes. And honestly, Utah missed like a lot of open threes. Utah was 14 for 41. 14 for 41 from the 3-point line. Okay. That's not good. That's not good. So I want to say Denver, held them to 14 to 49, but a good chunk of them, like, really weren't contested. Like, they just were not going in. They had great looks on threes, especially from the corner, but they just didn't land. So I feel like Denver did get lucky there. Oh my God, Peyton Watson. Moving on from Spencer Jones to Peyton Watson. I mean, Peyton Watson, he was without 2 games. We were without him, for 2 games, or I guess 1 and 3/4. But boy, he came back and made a statement on both ends of the court. Offensively and defensively. He played great defense on Keon George. He played great defense, I'll say, the first half, and then he played good defense the second half. Because when Peyton was out in the second quarter, they had that 3-guard lineup. So you got Bruce, you got Tim, you got Jamal, Cam, Yoke, or you got Val, Bruce, Tim, and Cam. And versus the 3 forward matchup. So when they went to that second lineup and Peyton was out and Spence was out, you could tell Lauri and Keon George definitely felt more free. Definitely felt like they were able to get to their spots or just get to the basket better. Funny enough, Utah, this game was so crazy. Funny enough, Utah had actually more paint points than the Denver Nuggets did. The Denver Nuggets had 40 points in the paint and Utah had 46. Usually the Nuggets will be somewhere in the high 50s, maybe low 60s when it comes to paint points. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen because they were raining threes all night. All night. Let me see here what we're looking. 24 of 46. That's over 50%. So Denver shot over 50%, high volume threes. Denver shot over 50% from the 3-point line. And I feel like, especially in the first quarter, Peyton made 2 threes, and they were just so cool to watch. Peyton had a 20 piece tonight, yo. He came back ready to work. He was a plus 18. He played great. Peyton was 3 of 4 from three. 3 of 4 from three. And there were not six. There were 3 other Denver players who shot at least 6 or more threes. That's crazy. And this game was only someone said it, this game was only the seventh game. The seventh game in NBA history where you have 3 people shooting 6 threes or more. 3 or more people shooting 6 threes or more. That's 3 people shooting 6 threes or more. It is wild, and we're gonna get to them 3 people. But Peyton Watson, I mean, he played great defense on Keon George. He held Keon George to 20 points. Utah Jazz they're not scrubs. You know, yes, this should have been a win for Denver regardless, but the Utah Jazz, they have been giving really good teams the business. Matter of factly, the night before Houston had their game against us, they played Utah and they lost to Utah. So if Utah can get a win over the Houston Rockets and, you know, some other competitive teams, like, they're not a scrub team despite what their record looks like. And that's mainly due to Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George, and how he's been playing just out of his mind really well this league. But Peyton held him to 20 and got him a 20-piece himself. So Peyton definitely came back with something to prove, and it was great to see. That first quarter, Chade in that first quarter, 40-15. That was ridiculous. Second quarter is when it dips down, because they're going to from that 3 forward lineup with Cam Spence and Peyton to now 3 guards. So they're downsizing. They're getting smaller with Bruce, Tim, and Cam. Cam is like a forward guard. So they downsized. And Jalen Pickett. I love Jalen in this game. However, when they had downsized in that second quarter, like I said before, Denver wasn't able to speed them up as much because Denver was so efficient in the first quarter. Jamal did a great job as a point guard. He did a great job controlling the pace, but speeding the pace up. Jamal was not in the business of letting them get comfortable, because Denver in general is used to letting bad or mid teams get very comfortable. And they were moving so fast, like, it was even hard for me to like keep up with my own notes, taking notes for this game. But Jamal did a great job at keeping the pace going, and like, just like his shooting efficiency. Like, so Jamal, okay, so he scored 27 points on 50% and 72.4% true shooting. Like, there was a stint where, let me see if I can find it. There was a stint where he had made a 3. They go back on defense. I believe it's a miss on Utah, and Jamal brings the ball up and just casually jogs into a 3, controls his pace, controls his posture. He's bringing the ball up. Everybody is still in transition defense. Jamal's not waiting on anybody, and he just jogs into a 3, sets his feet, and then throws that thing up, and it's all cash. And I'm just like, bro, like, how is he? It takes a lot of reps just to be automatic. Like, a lot, even saying the word a lot is an understatement. It takes thousands of reps in order to just be that automatic from the 3-point line. Um, but Denver loses the second and third quarters to Utah. In the let's see here. Yeah. So in the second quarter, Utah beat Denver 31-29. So they still, keep it neck and neck, but Denver wasn't able to get the edge over them like they did in the first quarter, that 25-point edge over them. In the first quarter, they did just enough to sustain that lead. And same thing in the third quarter, but Utah expands that lead, or I'm sorry, closes out the lead just a little bit more. Utah won that third quarter 38-34. So they were definitely fighting to try and get within some range where they can manage to get a win off. And I don't blame them because, like I said, Denver is known for making not good teams feel like they have a chance at beating them, especially in the fourth quarter. So I think going into the fourth quarter, they were down, I believe, like 17, either 17 or 19 points. And honestly, like that's plenty of time. In this day and age, that's plenty of time for a team to catch up and take the lead. And to win a game, all you need to do is win by one. So they had enough time, even despite that large lead that Denver had over them. They had enough time to try and get it back. In this day and age, it's nothing for a team to go on like a 15-11-0 run, or like maybe a 15-2 run in like 2 minutes. It's nothing to do that nowadays. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But yeah, Denver played great. That second quarter, things got slowed down a bit, but they were able to maintain the lead. Julian comes back in that second quarter. Julian was concerning because you can see the team trying to get him more involved. But like, even he's passing up on open shots, even he's choosing to just pass the ball when the team is like trying to get him involved, passing him back the ball when he passes it out. And this just wasn't a good game for Julian. It wasn't a good game for Julian. I think, did he get some fouls? Nothing that I guess that's really that memorable, but he clearly struggled tonight. Hopefully that's not the case too much longer, because we don't know again how long Aaron and Chris are going to be out. Hopefully they come back within the next week or two. I don't think they're going to be coming back before Christmas. I really don't think they're going to be coming back before the end of the year. I feel like they might play in their Toronto game, which is their last game of the season, which is cool because, Jamal gets to go back to Toronto. Cam, two things. Well, three. Jalen Pickett played great similar to Spence, despite him not having a great shooting game. I think Jalen, he only had like 3 points. He only had like 3 points from 1 3, and he was like bricking all of his shots. But his defense was really good. He makes really great and really smart decisions. I feel like the game just gets more organized, regardless of who's having a good night or not. I feel like when Jalen comes into the game, everything gets just a little bit more organized. And you can still, even with Jalen's size, trust him to apply pressure on defense. So much so, I think Jalen is only like 6'1", and Jalen got 2 blocks. Jalen got 2 blocks within a minute of each other towards the end of the first quarter, and it was just so cool to watch. So even if Jalen isn't having a great shooting game, he is someone who is capable of spacing the floor. And they were wide open looks that he would usually knock down, but I feel like he was thinking just a little bit too much, so that's why they didn't go in. Same with Spence, but they both played great tonight. Jalen was a +9 as well. Cam This was probably Cam's best offensive game. And it was so cool to watch. He was 6 of 6. He was a perfect 100% from three. 6 of 6 is insane. It was just so cool to see. Like, of course, we know the gravity that Yoke pulls when he gets into the paint. And that allowed Cam to get just some open looks in the corner. And baby, he was just knocking them things down, and it was so cool to watch. He got a couple shots on the wing as well, and it was just great to see him just be real comfortable in this game. He missed all his shots in the paint, and that's the only thing that frustrates me about Cam, is when he kind of has the same thing that Michael Porter Jr. had when he was here, is that whenever he has to deal with contact in the paint, he just kind of second guesses himself too much, and it could lead to a turnover or just a missed shot, because that the presence of contact makes him feel conflicted, or he gets deep into the paint and he just automatically thinks, oh, I'm going to pass it out. I just want to see him, even though he missed all his 2-pointers, I would just like to see him go for more of those layups, go for more of those floaters when you're in, like, 5 to 10 feet of the basket. Just go for it instead of trying to kick it back out every time. But boy, I'll tell you, Cam had the highest plus minus. Cam was a plus 31 in this game, and 101% true shooting. Like, that's insane. That's freakishly insane, bro. That's insane. And then he also had 4 assists, and he had a block. Cam is good. Cam is good for a block every now and again. Okay. So he was very active on defense. I think in the third and fourth quarters, when Spence and PY were out, he was having that assignment on Lauri Markkanen. And there were definitely some possessions where Lauri Markkanen was getting the best of him in those second and third quarters, but it didn't sustain itself. Tim Hardaway Jr., boy, he was feeling it tonight. It was so freaking cool. He had, I think, like 2 threes in the first quarter that were just very timely and just fit the momentum. You can kind of see him, P. Watt knocking down threes, Yoke knocking down threes, Cam knocking down threes, Jamal knocking down threes. Jamal's a freak of nature, dude. He seriously is. Jamal knocking down threes. He had 27 points tonight. And you can feel in Tim's energy. Tim was just like, okay, well, I'm brought in to be a 3-point shooter. I want to get in on this action. And he certainly did, yo. It was like a stint. It was a stint in the third quarter where this man just made 3 threes back to back to back. It was wicked. I did not understand what was going on. I didn't understand what got into him, but he clearly knows what got into him. So Tim was fabulous tonight. Yoke didn't have a high scoring game, but the thing I love about this game is, especially with him playing Nurkic, he knows, Nurkic is a big body. I'm glad Yoke didn't decide to just kind of let Nurkic push him around. And he played great defense on Nurkic. He really did. Nurk was able to get, like, some floaters here and there, some putback shots here and there. But for the most part, Yoke played great defense on Nurkic. So this was a great game overall for Nikola Jokić. I'm very happy for this team. Bruce had a solid game too. Yeah, Val had a great game. Another reason why they lost those second and third quarters is because when you switch to like a 3-guard lineup, Nurkic, Markkanen, they were able to win the rebound battle in both those quarters. So in the first quarter, Denver won the rebound battle 17-11. 17-11. In the second quarter, Denver lost the rebound battle 9-13, and then lost it again in the third quarter 10-13, 10 to Utah's 13. So I think one of the Yeah. So Utah, they won second chance points. They got 13 second chance points to Denver's 8 second chance points. But Denver, they have done a great job at forcing turnovers on the other team and limiting turnovers on their own. That's one of the reasons why their defense is better, right? It's better. It's better than it was last year. Not miles ahead, maybe 1 or 2 miles, child, but not too many miles ahead of what it was last year. Again, there's still that presence of missing AG and missing Chris, but hopefully they'll be back in a week or two. Overall, this just simply was a really, 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 really great game from everyone. Denver's next game is the next day. If you're watching this, by the time you watch this, it is today, against the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. So a back-to-back. This is going to be an away game. That game is at, let's see here. That game is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is kind of crazy because they lose an hour going to Dallas. And then they have 4 more games. They have 5 games total in like 8 of the rest calendar days of the year, which is crazy planning. I hope they get a lot of rest. I hope they treat their bodies well. But yes, next game is going to be on December 23rd, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Dallas Mavericks Arena. I will speak to you guys then. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Happy to be back in the win column. Hopefully we can sustain that against the Mavericks. They lost to the Pelicans tonight, so we'll see how their attitude is when they have to play Denver. It's going to be another Jokić versus AD matchup. If they can sustain this type of shooting, keep this same momentum, keep this same energy going into Dallas, that would be great. I'm not going to be surprised if their legs are tired and you see a lot of short shots. Not just missed shots, but shots that are short on their shooting. That just means their legs aren't tired and they don't have enough strength. I wouldn't be surprised if I see that as well. But I hope they put up a good fight in Dallas, and I think they still can get the win despite this schedule being kind of crazy. Until then, I will see you guys later. You all have a good one.